How have you been?
How have I been? Been okay. I've been working out a lot more, so that's good. How have you been?
Good.
Good. What have you been up to lately?
Just like YouTube and stuff.
Okay. What else has been different? This is week 2.
Of what?
Club.
Oh,
So that's kind of new.
yeah.
You like it?
Mhm.
You glad you're doing it?
Mhm.
Did you say that club is hard or
Um,
easy or moderate?
actually, their club actually hasn't been that hard. Well, I think the difference between our usual what's it called? Coaching and like our room, the environment, and theirs, there's a whole lot more people and it's their off-season program, so they're not gonna push the people as much. I don't think the coaches really care
Mm-hmm.
how the kids perform,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more up to you how you choose to push yourself. Like the coaches aren't gonna care if you skip a rep or so.
Okay.
The coaches at Mount Empire care. They'll like catch you and call you out
Mm-hmm.
because they care. But the people at Granite, if you just don't complete your push-ups and sit-ups and squats or something, nobody cares. People do it all the time.
Do you?
So it's really, yeah. So it's more self-accountable-ness.
Okay. Your brothers seem really tired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're working hard. So you're saying you're not working as hard?
I'm working hard.
Okay. You just don't get in trouble if you don't work hard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well,
What have you been up to lately?
now that you're doing club, it's forced me to go to the gym. Like I work out at home, but now that you're going to club, I drop you off and then I go to the gym for an hour and a half. So it's been nice to be able to go swim laps and stuff and use different equipment and stuff. So, huh? Okay.
So,
Um,
so
so what happens if it just turns off?
it,
Do you know?
it's not gonna turn off.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Well, that's why we have the backup camera
Oh, okay. That's good.
in case. So,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
I was
Gym,
talking about the
swimming.
gym.
What do
Yeah.
you do at the gym? What kind of workouts?
Um, well, a lot of the stuff I do here at home is just they have like more equipment. So, um, I don't know. I can use the machines and like isolate muscles where I can't necessarily do that here.
What's the point of isolating muscles and versus doing like compound lift, like a push up or a pull up,
I mean,
where you use multiple?
I've heard I do that still. I do all that stuff
But
still.
what's the point of isolating?
Well, because we're all built differently. So some people, no matter how many squats they do or lunges they do, they just can't seem to, what's it called, activate certain muscles. Like, if you're having trouble growing your leg muscles, that machine is going to help really isolate certain muscles. So, for example, like the leg extension, the quads. So on that machine, like some people, you can use both legs to do it, but I like to do both legs and then switch it up and do one leg at a time and really think about it. So when I was lifeguarding, eons ago, I hurt my knee. I've hurt both my knees, and during that time, I had to go in physical therapy for like 6 months, and I spoke to a surgeon who was very wise, and he gave me all these workouts to do, like once I get back at it in the gym, and told me use this machine, do this with your feet to grow this muscle so it'll protect your knees. So I keep that in mind because I just know my weaknesses. I know my shoulders are prone to have rotator cuff problems. I know my knees are prone to have problems. So I have to constantly keep the little tiny muscles as well as the big muscles strong around those joints so that I don't want to injure myself. Because it sucks when you get injured, you're out. Like I was out for 6 months.
What's this? You get to the point.
My point is those little machines help you isolate muscles that you maybe aren't able to hit with your
So
regular
for
workouts.
injured people, for injured people.
No, I mean, world-class bodybuilders use them. I mean, it's just, it varies by person. Like, you could have really good genetics, you could have, and you never have to use machines. But not everyone's built differently, is what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, there's a lot of research on this.
Can you tell if you're one of the people who needs the machines?
Yeah.
How?
When you get injured, for instance, that's
So
one.
that's
Or
an injury.
no, that was the first time I realized I should be doing this. But it's a learning curve. But I have had friends who are or not are were bodybuilders, and yes, they have. That's a resource. There's so many schools of thought on that, but the majority of people will say that they can be really beneficial. I mean, not just for elite athletes use them. I mean, you see guys in the NFL, in their weight room, they're using machines, okay? But also they have these really great newer machines now that help protect the back. So you have people who are maybe not as strong or older, and they really want, or you've already had a back injury, right? And you want to get strong, but putting that big bar on your shoulders is not an option. So the machines are great. They give you the ability to get strong despite maybe some limits. But that being said, even if you are already a strong person, it helps you isolate little muscles.
So, okay.
I don't know how else to put it. It works for everyone.
For like leg exercises, isn't it possible for you just to do squats for legs and then not have to do like, there's a whole bunch of other machines like leg curls, the like hip things or whatever, abductors, whatever.
Yeah.
There's calf raises.
There's the angled leg press.
Yeah, there's a bunch of leg things. Can't you just get away with doing just squats for legs? Because it uses all of them.
I don't know. Like Wyatt, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not someone who
But
has a
if you
background.
were,
I'm
what would you
not, so I
say?
can't pretend to be. I can only speak from experience. It's like when I go to the gym on a regular basis and have access to all these little machines, I feel like I build strength faster. Because like I said, you're able to hit those muscles more easily. So for someone like you, I think it'd be beneficial for you. So, I mean, everyone's different and everyone's goals are different and everyone's body is different, you know, whether you're an older person with a history of injuries or you're an athlete who's just trying to work on strengthening certain muscles. It's great. I think they're there for a reason and people use them because they work. So you can hate on them, but they work. They work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, though. I mean, I have listened to people who are educated, you know, people who have PhDs in exercise physiology, you know, who train people in all different sports who say, yes, machines are useful. That being said, there's people like Laird Hamilton who I respect a ton. You know who he is?
No.
He's a big wave surfer. I mean, he's older now, so he probably shouldn't be surfing those big waves, but like toe-in surfing. But he's a big guy. He's one of those guys that's like, no, machines don't work your full range of motion. You know, they're pointless. Whatever. He's an elite athlete. And he uses all kinds of different strategies that are amazing. But he also has money and a setup at home that most people don't have. So the gym with those machines works for a broader spectrum of people. And I think they're useful.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't know. I have been running. You and I were running. I feel like you got to a point where you got sick. You got really sick. And then you're doing like leg day. And then you were kicking my butt. During wrestling season, you blew me away.
Do you think it's the creatine? Because
Oh, you're taking creatine now?
you think creatine makes you slower?
I do.
Like your cardio?
So I feel that way. It depends who you talk to. I mean, if you're trying to build like strength, then I think creatine's really, really great for like brute strength. If you're like a sprinter, I could see that being good. But like you and I were doing long runs, right? And here's what I'll say. Yes, you get heavier, but the bigger thing for me is I always felt like my muscles were dehydrated. Because no matter how much I've tried creatine off and on over the years, and no matter how much water I drink, I always feel dehydrated when I take creatine. Because it's just, it triggers your body just to soak up all that water, and it's going right into your muscles. But even so, my muscles felt like they were cramping up, and I do feel heavy. That's me personally. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to run 5 miles and feel light as a feather. I feel like a stone. So I avoid it. I hate that feeling. Like I got kind of big, and that I lost 20 pounds, and I don't want to go feel heavy again. It's not like good for my joints. Like I said, I have knee problems, so I don't want to feel heavy. I get your reasoning behind it. It's off season. You might as well. It might give you an edge. Might help you to bulk, as you say. So, but it's going to hurt your running. So I guess it depends on what your goals are. I don't really see. I could be wrong, but I don't really see endurance athletes using creatine. So yeah. So I had been running, and I feel like I've kind of taken a little break. I ran on the treadmill today because my knees have been bugging me again. So I need to keep stretching, and rolling my muscles and lifting weights and stuff. So I think I was just trying to do too much. I was running too far, too fast, because I want to get back to running long distances, but I'm not ready. So it's called being patient. So I'm back to using the spin bike and swimming.
When you run, what is the first thing that stops you? What's your weakest point?
Well, to tell you the truth, okay, you guys are always like, Mom, that's so stupid. I have asthma. So it sucks. It's it's a lifelong thing. I do take my inhaler, but what happens is it's a mixture of things. Maybe my legs aren't strong enough, but it really can be dictated by the air quality. If it's really cold out, I'm toast. Cold air, I start wheezing and I can't breathe. And it gets to a point where even though my body feels like I keep going, I'm not getting enough oxygen. So I have to slow down my breathing, really focus on it. And sometimes it means I have to walk. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think for me, my lungs have always been the thing, whether it's swimming, running, whatever. Just depends on the air sometimes,
Have you ever thought of using an oxygen mask or the O2 trainers?
Nah.
Why not? If your problem's you're breathing.
Yeah, but it's not what you think it is. It's think about it if you're normally breathing through something like this, what happens is that there's swelling happening. I can't, all I can do is take my inhaler. Sometimes slowing down my breathing, focusing on that can help, but it's a constriction of the airway. So the airway is just becoming swollen and it's constricted. I don't have, I have to be better about taking my inhaler probably. I'm bad about it. Take my medicine. I also hypoxic breathing. So that's why swimming is so good for asthma. So that's why, I was in the hospital a lot as a small child, and the doctor told my mom, get her on the swim team. So I went into swim lessons at age 3 and 4, and by age 5 I was on a swim team. And I swam as much as I could my whole life. And my asthma, for the most part, pretty much went away. It wasn't really an issue, but I haven't been swimming. So when I've been swimming 2-3 days a week now. Since you're going to club, I go swim. And I'm getting, slowly, I feel like I'm getting better. Because I couldn't even, last week, I got in the pool and it was pathetic. I was doing 50 yards. I would try to do 100 and my lungs were upset. But this week I got in and I did my whole workout was just hundreds. And then I ended it with that, it's high, hypoxic breathing?
What?
So when you're swimming a lap, you're face down and you, for 3 or 4 strokes, face down, one breath. So you're basically trying to keep really focused on your breathing, You keep your head down. You're not breathing every stroke. You're breathing every 3 or 4 strokes. So it's building that lung strength. And then at the end of my workout, I'll do this thing where your thing's making phone storage is full, honey. Yeah, so hypoxic breathing. That's just when and swimming's great because you're forced to exercise. Your heart rate's super high. I look at my watch and I think I get up there during my last workout, I think it was like 170. But you're not able to breathe like you are when you're running. You're constantly breathing, right? So it strengthens your lungs, your lung capacity. And then at the end of my workout, when I'm done, I will do these like exercises where you kind of super inflate your lungs and then you swim underwater, a whole pool length. You come up at the end, take a full breath, and then you swim back super slowly, like freestyle, and only take one breath on the way back. And that builds lung capacity and lung strength. So I'm hoping with getting back into swimming that'll help my running.
The O2 trainer basically does that though. Like the altitude mask, they just make it harder to breathe.
Oh, okay. Like JJ used?
Yeah. What do you think I was talking about?
I wasn't sure what you were talking about. That makes more sense. I was like picturing like someone with like an oxygen tank or something. Those little like cans. Ever seen those wrestlers at like tournaments? I've only seen this a few times. Where like, and it seems so stupid and like over the top. Like, it'll be like
the oxygen tanks,
yeah,
like the air.
It has like a little tank, and like they're over there talking. So they'll be in the middle of a match, and then whatever, like maybe that guy got bloody nose, so he takes that as an advantage and goes over there and is huffing oxygen.
I think
that's stupid.
I saw a YouTube video and it said like those things don't even work because
Yeah.
your body can only absorb so much oxygen, and like, so it's not gonna do anything.
That's just it looks like you just look dumb.
It's just a scam.
It's like
I think.
yeah. Well, I'm like you didn't train hard enough that you need an oxygen mask, and like no one else is using one. Not to be talking crap or anything, but yeah. I mean, you're asking I think swimming's better because you're forced to hold your breath.
You can hold your breath
And
on
you
dry
literally
land.
no. So you're right, but so what happens is like, do you run while holding your breath? There's a difference. Like you're running with limited oxygen. That's how I feel when I have an asthma attack. Is I have limited oxygen, versus I'm holding my breath while exercising, and it's like a rhythm that you get into. And essentially, like, I feel like when I swim, I almost, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. It's like my body, I'm able to, like, almost control my heart rate and my blood pressure and my respirations because I've swam my whole life. And it's just... my body knows exactly what to do. And so that training, my lungs, comes like easily. It's faster. I feel like if I was to wear one of those masks and run, I would just feel like I'm having an asthma attack. And think about it this way too, the water is like this humid air. It's kind of like pleasant. Like every breath you take is like this like moist.
But don't you think like it's not supposed to be pleasant? You need to like push yourself.
Oh, I'm pushing myself. It's not easy. But I'm saying for an asthmatic, it's pleasant.
If it's feeling like an asthma attack, using like with a altitude mask.
Yeah, you're not getting my point. My point is when I'm running out here in Pine Valley, the air out here sometimes is very, very dry and cold, which is very painful and will trigger an asthma attack. So imagine running with a mask on, and then on top of that, I'm getting an asthma attack. How much would that suck? Versus, I'm not trying to I'm going to suffer. Swimming is hard work. You guys talk so much crap, swimming, but it's hard. It is hard work. So, anyways, my answer to you is I think swimming's the solution. I know it works. Why not just keep doing it? To strengthen my lungs again. It does strengthen my body as well, so. Anyways.
What's that?
Anywho, so we talked about wrestling.
Yeah, I think you talked enough. How about you interview me?
I've talked enough. Yeah, I don't know. I've asked you before. So you have some goals, I'm guessing, for the off season.
Kind of.
Okay. Well, if you don't actually make goals, you probably won't meet them. So I have my goals, which are kind of pathetic, probably compared to yours. But I know recently you managed to do muscle ups, which you could probably do the whole time. But you've been strong enough to do them. I think it was just a technique thing on your part. So you managed to do that. Um, I want to do muscle ups again. I think we need a better pull up bar. Like I want one in the ground outside.
What's the difference?
Because that one out there is like not very stable.
It's stable
Because
if
you're
you
supposed
put.
to go, when I used to do muscle ups, it's kind of like a gymnastics move that you do to get yourself up there.
I
Kind
can
of
do them
swing
fine. You just
swing
got.
yourself.
You can just put all the weights on and it'll weigh
Yeah,
it down
yours
fine.
aren't very like smooth though. They could be better.
There. Yeah, because I'm starting out this like. I just
No,
learned
I
to do
swear,
them.
if you had a different bar, I bet you they would be like easier. It's just, I've done them before. We had this nice bar at the beach and it was like solid, concrete in the ground. And it was much
Maybe.
easier. Just my opinion.
So
Anyways, muscle ups, you did that. You're trying to put some weight on. Because I remember wrestling season, you struggled. You were wrestling at 126, and I think you pretty much weighed in at 120 every time. Is this true?
yeah,
So you were wrestling other guys who were cutting to 126, and you were trying your best. You were not cutting, you were trying to actually have weight on you, and it was like impossible. Probably because, why do you think you weren't able to put weight on during the season?
I think I didn't know how to eat like enough because when you're going to school, it's hard to like make food and like prepare and like eat enough calories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was trying to eat healthy, and like eating healthy, you're trying to eat like vegetables and stuff, and they don't have a lot of calories,
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of have to like eat unhealthy.
You're being too strict with yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, with that level of training, you probably, I mean, yes, it's important to eat clean, but you needed to be less picky. You just need to eat, period. I remember Coach Gray kept telling you,
but
eat, just eat anything, eat. So, yes, he was right. But you're a stubborn kid, so. So now what are you doing different? Is it working?
yeah, just eat whatever.
Whatever.
I eat stuff that's a lot of calories.
Give me an example.
So like fats. So I saw this thing is like proteins and plants or what are they called? Vegetables, whatever. They have like 4 calories per gram,
Uh-huh.
whereas fats have 9. So you want to eat a lot of fats, which is like
Yes.
peanut butter, nuts have the most calories.
Coconut oil.
Seeds, yeah, oil, coconuts.
Butter.
Yeah, you just gotta eat a lot of fats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember, not to interrupt you, but there was a time when you guys were little where I was like, I think, I'm trying to think what year it was, 2010, 11, whatever. Paleo was new on the scene. You know what paleo is?
Yeah, I know.
Basically, you don't eat any carbs, you don't eat like dairy, whatever. But you eat a lot, in order to make up for that, you eat a lot of fat. And I remember coconut oil was like a huge deal. It does raise your cholesterol though, unfortunately.
What's
So
the
if
point
you-
of not eating carbs?
Huh?
What's the point of keto?
Yeah, keto, very similar. Back then I just like tried it, just wanted to give it a go. And now, I mean, I'm like, screw that, carbs all the way. Because I feel like carbs give me a lot of energy.
I heard Andrew Tate. He
Oh God, I hate Andrew Tate.
he his diet. I saw his dieting advice. He'd basically just say, eat anything as long as it's not sugar.
True.
Sugar is horrible for you.
I love sugar.
He's the guy like smoke cigars
Oh.
and say sugar's bad.
Does he drink though, like alcohol? Because alcohol is sugar.
Sometimes he drinks.
Yeah, alcohol is
Like-
sugar. That'll put fat on you real quick. Not the good kind of fat too.
But yeah, he never really had any general dieting advice, but now he's like kind of been leaning towards. He's like on this carnivore diet where you just eat as much meat as you want.
That's hot right now. That's like the new. It's basically everything's just given names. Atkins was the first one, by the way. Atkins was my teacher was on Atkins when I was in high school, and she lost a ton of weight. But you know what basically allowed her to lose all that weight?
What?
She used to drink like a liter of Pepsi a day. So she quit the Pepsi because it wasn't Atkins. So I really think that's what did it. But Atkins is basically paleo. Keto is basically paleo. Carnivore diet's basically paleo.
So his reason behind this
Atkins.
was, let me remember his advice. So
Yeah.
just eat meat as much meat. It's like he eats, his diet's basically just like steaks. He eats a ton of steak. I don't know what other meats he
It'd
eats.
get boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, kind of. But his reason is like all the minerals you need, everything you need is all in meat. And so maybe eat some vegetables, I guess, because some of them you can't really get from meat.
Yeah.
But he says fruit's bad for you. Stay away from fruit because it has a ton of sugar. What is his other stuff? And he says carbs make you tired. Like you get that like brain fog where you like are tired or something. He said it's all carbs, and like when you cut out carbs and you're eating meat, you're gonna be like more focused and stuff.
So, what do you consider a carb?
Carb,
Yeah,
any
specifically.
stuff like wheat, bread, pasta, all that stuff's carbs.
So, yeah, you're right, but you're also wrong.
Why?
Like sweet potatoes. So your body doesn't like know the difference. It's going to process like sweet potatoes or potatoes in general as a carbohydrate. So I understand it's like not like a grain. Like quinoa is obviously a grain. That's a carb. All those things are going to spike your glucose, right? And then when you have that glucose spike, obviously you're going to crash again. So, same thing happens when you eat like candy, right? Except it's more intense. But the difference being is like sweet potatoes, apples, things that have sugar that are processed essentially as a carbohydrate by your body. They are natural, meaning they grow on our planet. They exist for us to consume, and they have a purpose and a use, which is to help our body recover from intense exercise, to give us that quick energy. Yeah, we're going to crash maybe later, but it's necessary. So, like, for example, I had some friends back in the day who were like, ultra marathon runners, and they didn't eat meat for those 3 days they were running. I would not have worked out too
Probably
well.
because like meat takes forever to digest.
Yes. So they were consuming carbohydrates in all different forms.
Because they break down quick.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Do you know what it's a name brand, Vitargo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vitargo is it's broken down. It's a carbohydrate, easily absorbable that you can mix in water. But yeah, carbs do serve a purpose. I mean, us humans, you've talked about this before. One thing that we have done, evolutionary speaking, is we are able to run down, animals, right? We can run a deer to death. We can run a gazelle to death. We're able to do that not because we are munching on a steak while we do it. So we have to have some kind of fast form of energy. And if you're someone who is constantly on the go, like I would say this past wrestling season, we're training all the time. You were getting up and training. Yes, you had school, but then right after school you were training. And then during the breaks, you had like 5-hour practices. You had tournaments on the weekends. You need that. You need carbs in your life. Okay? So that's cool for people who are just trying to do this and sit around and look cool. But if you're a true athlete, you need carbohydrates.
Yeah, Andrew Tate all he does is just work. So you
Yeah,
just need,
it's different.
it's important for him to like have good focus and energy throughout his day.
I totally understand. But for you,
Mhm.
that won't work. It won't work. It's not sustainable. You will perish. Like, can you imagine at a tournament, like, I'm just going to eat beef all day? I don't think that would work out too well for you. You need that fast energy. And yeah, you're going to get a little sleepy, but then you'd eat again. That's the beauty of it, is it works quickly. And if you just keep consuming them, you kind of keep your energy up. As long as they're not crap, right? You'll be okay. So everything has a purpose. I don't think we're omnivores for a reason. Human beings are amazing.
What is the purpose of sugar exactly?
What kind of sugar are we talking about?
Just the anything that contains the sugar.
You mean like apples?
Anything, any sugar. What's the point of it?
Energy. It's gonna, I mean, it helps, it does help your mind, even though he says, oh, you're like, be able to have mental clarity. But there's plenty of studies, and everyone is so different, Wyatt. Like, not one rule applies to everyone, right? You have to go based on you. You have to find what works for you. And I've heard so many fads over the years, like my oldest brother, was into the blood type diet for a while. I remember seeing that on the news years ago, thinking you could get a blood test and know what foods you should or shouldn't eat for you specifically. But it's really a trial and error. So some things are going to work really, really well for you and not really, really well for, say, even your brother. Because you guys are really different, even though you're brothers. Same thing between me and you. I'm a girl. I'm older than you. Different body type, right? Different types of athletes. So I think it's trial and error. But I think right now in your phase of the game, nothing's off the table. Because you're trying to put weight on, right? For me, I have to be a little more picky. For you, you could eat a brownie and be completely fine. If I eat a brownie, I'll be all right. It's probably a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to help me reach my goals, if that makes sense. So yeah, we could talk about food all day long. I've tried so many different things over the years, and I hear you. But at the end of the day, I think it's not as important as people. I mean, obviously, don't go eat Taco Bell every day. Yes, you should eat like clean, like good foods. But as long as you're eating like, as you say, whole foods, you're okay, right? And the carbs, by the way, going back to bread, there's differences in like some breads, like say like, even though we go and buy all kinds of different sliced breads and hamburger buns and bagels that probably aren't good for you, right? There are better options. I remember when I used to bake sourdough all the time. That's probably the best option for you. And if I had more time to dedicate to that, I would. But that's not possible at this phase in my life with my work schedule and stuff. But yeah, there are definitely higher quality carbs in the world that we're not necessarily consuming. But like I said, you don't need to be picky right now. And neither do your brothers. You're growing,
I'm ending the pod.
Right. Oh, okay, goodbye.